So OnePlus is focusing on bringing back their fame and hype, and they tried to do that with the 11 series of phones, and they did a fairly good job with the 11R. And this is the Nord CE3 Lite. Quite a mouthful for a name, but under 20,000 rupees. You don't have a lot of phones under 20,000 rupees, so this one definitely is a worthy competitor under 20,000 rupees. Specs wise, it's not up there. You have lots of other phones. In fact, you have some flagship phones from a few years back that you can get for around 20,000 rupees. So if you really want to get the best out of your money, then you can get some phones with like 120 watt charging, AMOLED screens, all of that. But this is a new phone and it gives you newer Android versions and it gives you more software updates for many years. And also it's a fairly robust device. So this has an 120 Hz display with a 240 Hz of refresh. Overall, it's a pretty good looking screen. It has good viewing angles and color reproduction, all of those things. So that way it works well. You also get a 5000 mAh battery and a 67 watt support for charging. And they also include an 80 watt charger inside the box. And a lot of people ask why companies have started including different charging capacity chargers. I think it's more to eliminate the need for specific chargers. So instead of making a specific 67 watt charger for this device, they give you the closest one they have that they're already manufacturing. That way it reduces the cost of manufacturing and you get a slightly overpowered sort of charger that maybe you can use on other devices as well. Like a 80 watt charger can be useful for a laptop as well. So from that perspective, this is a good thing, not a bad thing. The fact that you're getting a charger is a good thing. You also have something that has become more of a myth, is the 3.5mm headphone jack. So if you're still one of those people who likes analog audio, you can get that. It's not analog audio, it's an analog audio port. The audio is still digital, but you're getting it from the analog port. So you still have that. From a gaming perspective, it's not really out there. You've got a 6 series Snapdragon processor, not the greatest. And as far as RAM and storage is concerned, you've got two options. So the cheaper one is definitely under 20,000 rupees. But if you have the money, I would recommend going for the higher storage and RAM variant. That gives you somewhat of a sort of leeway in terms of long-term use. So we've used this phone for over a month, and in that we see that the software experience is pretty consistent. Now they call it Oxygen OS, but you and I know the truth. So let's just leave it at that. But you still get a lot of Oxygen OS features built into this. So you can make a V to turn on the flashlight, which is fine, I guess. You can also draw a circle to sort of turn on the camera. I mean, these are basic things, but you do get other Oxygen OS things as well. You have race to answer the phone and some of the other things that you had. So they've tried to sort of bring back that experience that people enjoyed with Oxygen OS. I'm still not a big fan of the icons and such, but overall it's fast, responsive, it's mostly clean. There are not a lot of bloatware apps on there. There are certain Amazon and other apps on there that you can actually uninstall. So Prime Video, Netflix, all those things, you can uninstall those if you don't need them, but they do come pre-installed. Now the camera layout remains to be the OnePlus Nord's weakest link, more or less, because now you have a 108 megapixel main camera, which is great, which is what you're going to be using, but video is restricted to 1080p. And one thing that you'd really like in the video is that the image stabilization is really good. So if you're walking with the video on, you almost feel like there is no shake whatsoever. So it's almost got like a gimbal mode on it. The other two cameras are 2 megapixel cameras, a macro and a depth sensor, both of which I don't think you're ever going to use. Instead of taking a 2 megapixel shot, you take a 108 megapixel shot and zoom into it. You'll get better resolution from that. So from that perspective, the other two sensors are more or less pointless. I would have liked at least if they would have chosen a single 8 megapixel or a single 12 megapixel secondary sensor. That would have been much better as an ultra wide or as a tele for a consumption point of view. The front camera is also good. It also does 1080p video, but that's basically what you're getting from this. It is compromised on several fronts. The build quality is decent. It's got a plastic frame, a lot of glass-like feeling. It doesn't sit flat on the table, so you got wobble, but it does include a case in the box, one of those cases that becomes yellow after a few months. So you definitely need a case on the back of this, and it does come pre-installed with a screen protector, but I would recommend getting one of those glass ones if you would like a better feeling screen interaction experience. For the price, it's not the best that you can get, but it's a well-balanced phone and the software is pretty nice. Also, hardware-wise, it is well-built and robust. Again, it's not the best value for your money, but you've got a pretty impressive battery and battery life, and you've got fast charging. So all of those things combined make it a sort of a no-nonsense phone as far as user experience is concerned. But again, going back to the fact that it's not the best value for money and it's not the most performance that you will get. So if you're looking for something that gives you heavy performance gaming experience, I would recommend picking up a flagship from maybe last year or last to last year. That'll give you better, not only things like charging speeds, because somehow a couple of years back everybody was running after 120 watts of charging, and you'll also get a flagship processor that'll give you better performance. So that's our review. If you enjoyed it, smash the like, hit the subscribe if you're not already a part of Team iGyaan. I'll see you in the next one.